13-part lower back pain strategy. I double up in reverse of sitting. I train my back to resist flexion and to embrace it. I train my strength and flexibility inside and outside my hips. I train the front and the sides of my lower spine. I train above my lower back on both sides because it's such a modern weak point. I strengthen my shoulders back and strengthen deep between them. And for good measure, I make sure my spinal erectors are stronger than the norm. The point of this video is to show you a different view. Current social media is obsessed with short videos, which makes it easy to go viral for one quick fix, but much harder for you to master a subject. And modern back stats are horrendous, so I don't think one magic trick away from the norm is good enough. We can cultivate great abilities throughout our body, and with that, the common malfunctions wash away. Now we'll slow it down. Why for each one, what the levels are, how do you start it, suggested sets reps that I currently use, which are just a guide. So why doubling up on those hip flexors? I was originally doing those to try to help my knees. But let's look at this. We'll pull up hip flexor anatomy. That attaches from the lower spine to the hip and then starts to connect down to the thigh. And then you've got rectus femoris, which continues that chain. So when I'm in this position, if we want to think about levels to it, I would say I think it's so important to have super thick mats. Realize gyms are just full of multi-$1,000 machines. So if you see something I'm using for hundreds or less dollars for mobility, I think it's rightfully so and should be in old gyms. But you could probably use actual couch cushions at home. So just getting good at this position would be the first step. I'm thinking to push through this foot. That's now training that rectus femoris. So I want that to be strong and flexible. So I'm here pushing over time. We'll come here, eventually straighten, eventually hands on hips. So I want to be able to like lean into that stretch, feeling strong, this whole chain feeling open. But due to how much modern sitting we do, I don't think that's enough. I started about here trying to rebuild my knees on ATG split squat. To this day, it's the most powerful long-term knee exercise I've done. Unintentionally was loading through here because we're not in this position. It's not soft through here, it's stretched, and it's not just a passive stretch. This is a loaded exercise. So I started assisting myself. You could probably start this right now with a chair. And then you could make progress with a stairwell. Again, I think these should be in every gym. Now, over time, I've progressed all the way down to flat. And now, what feels amazing for me is to elevate my back foot. So now when I'm in this position, I've got this perfect harmony of strength, stretch. My number one favorite exercise. It takes so much intention mentally because it's stretch and strength at the same time. Best long-term investment I've put in my body. I haven't tweaked my lower back in over 10 years. So over 10 years without setback for the knees or the lower back. This was unintentional, doing it for my knees. Now so many lower back success stories come in, and I really investigated with a lot of people who made like total transformations of their lower back ability, and this was really the foundation. You start with those two, you're already a notch ahead of the norm, a notch ahead of anything being taught in college textbooks. It's funny how by limiting the knee over toe, it now actually limits everything on up the chain. So start with those two. Now another area of some debate that I want to be good at both in context. Context is very important in exercise. I don't think there is such a thing as a bad exercise. This is why you don't see any videos on my channel saying, don't do this exercise, it'll never happen. Because I don't believe that. I believe in context. So I want to be strong and flexible at resisting my back rounding. But if it does round, I want it to feel super mobile. So I use this exercise one side at a time. To me, like I need to be able to do that cold. It's just like a contract with myself to be a modern person. Got to be able to do that cold. And elevating, look at this, same exercise. So grandma and grandpa could start right here. Start opening up that chain. I think all this sitting, we get extra tight here. And then I think from modern footwear, which I don't wear, I wear a zero drop shoe. This on shoes was done for style. So I think everyone's walking around too tight here. Like we have a lifetime of being too tight here. So for me, it took time to open up back behind the knees. So I'm thinking this one, I'm thinking more behind the knees, opening up and giving my spine lots of love in this position, but at a reasonable level. And then training the strength to resist losing my back strength and stretching those upper hamstrings. So those two together, whew, so good. All right, Couch stretch 1 to 2 sets, 60 seconds, twice a week. I do that after both leg days. I do 2 leg days. I've broken this stuff down, full ATG protocol, lower and upper body. ATG split squat, I do 1 day a week, 4 sets of 10 to 12 reps. That's like a primary exercise for me. It would actually be easy to say, oh my gosh, 13 exercises. Well, this is the least time and money I've spent on my body in the last 20 years, because this is just how I exercise. This is not I don't have to do any other body treatments. I don't take any supplements. No offense. It's whatever you like to do, or whatever you like to add. I don't have to add any of it, and have had better results than I even knew were possible. So I don't feel a need to change the recipe. I got 2 toddlers to run around after. All right. Right here, whatever you want to call it, a deadlift, trying to stretch strength, deadlift, 3 sets, 15 to 20 reps. I like to really ease into that one, get those tissues going. And then with the elephant walk, 1 to 2 sets, twice a week, 20 reps per side. So I like to do one side, other side, so 40 times, 20 times per. All right, moving on. It doesn't seem natural for us to be stuck in chairs as kids from such a young age, like in school. We should be able to be in all these positions for longer. So we tend to get tight through the outside of that hip. So I just like to get in sort of a 90-90 position, and then think of it like a push-up. Like in my head, I'm using this muscle, piriformis, pear-shaped, pear form. I'm using that muscle, so my knee is pushing down into the ground, and then I want to feel like that can just push. So I think it can be really that simple to kind of restore that natural balance. And then you have a lot of these groin positions too, and it's so easy to turn right around. And then the idea is not to stretch past what you're strong. So you wouldn't do this, you would pulse and not touch. And then you go here, so you have like a measurement. And then, so I want to feel strong through that groin, the outside of those hips. So there we've already got 6. That's already going to put you in a very different position in terms of protecting your back, but we'll keep going. I also want to be, if we think about that lower spine, I also want to be strong on the other side and on the sides of it. So that is my post leg day stretch routine is couch stretch, elephant walk, piriformis push-up, standing pancake pulse. Those 4, 1 and 2 rounds of those reps. Now here, I can get strong in those hip flexors, which are uncommonly weak, in addition to uncommonly tight. Why? We tend to stop sprinting at too young of an age. We don't have to keep running from bears and lions and tigers or whatever. And when we go into the weight room, we're training strength down. We're not lifting weights with our feet, so we're really deviating from the natural proportions of the body. So with this, boom, now I can put those proportions in my favor. Not surprisingly, the fastest guys I've ever trained had the strongest hip flexors pound for pound. Usain Bolt lifted weights with his feet. But I'm not talking about just doing something like a little dinky exercise. I think about this the same as a bench press. I have a measurement, and I'm gonna take that thing to failure. It's a strength exercise. So this was also really badly missed in modern exercise science to keep that balance. So I want this whole area. I think of this like a belt, a bulletproof, flexible belt that it can go any way. It can be strong and flexible in any way. And for the same reason, this one's also really badly missed. Most of people have not trained it. So start light, start body weight. Make sure some people be sore for like a week of delayed onset muscle soreness because you think you've lifted weights, but now you're like a newbie to training the muscle on either side of your lower spine. So now it's again, stretch strength. So it's right here, stretching. It's also very commonly imbalanced. You often have like a lifetime of like twisting a certain way. So someone could have back problems from being so imbalanced that in life they don't realize, oh, they go to pick something up, they don't realize that this side is super stiff and weak. So they're used to thinking a certain way. And then, so quadratus lumborum, quad, 4-sided lumborum of the lower spine. So it connects in there. Strong hip flexors, strong quadratus lumborum. 2 sets, 10 to 12 reps. 2 sets, 15 to 20 reps once a week, and actually alternate that the other leg day, 2 sets, 20 seconds, working on the L-sit, which also works those. Same area. Combine L-sit more down that rectus moris, so more deeper into the abs, and then this one more directly into the hip flexors. Good. Still going. Now this one you can do it on a regular bench, but for example, my mom hates it on a regular bench. My mother-in-law hates it on a regular bench. Now they've both been loving this. You're good, buddy. I've been doing most of this stuff for many years. Go slow. Go as light as you need. Keep it where it feels good. I don't care if you just do that, okay? Over time, boom. It's like an investment in the body to be more bulletproof. I think about it like I'm paying off real estate in my body. I am not paying rent. That's just how I think of it. Think of it however you want to. I'm paying, the way I train, I'm paying off real estate so that I don't have to worry about hurting my knees. I don't have to worry about my back. I'm owning my shit. All right. So that, and then that one gets so stiff in people that we start to get weaker on the other side. I've trained a lot of young people. The average 12 to 14-year-old is stronger than the average adult in the exercise I'm going to show you now. So we're working the muscles. The lower trap muscles are just above your lower back. Elbows straight. You're raising up like a Y shape, no bending the elbow. That shortens the leverage. Holding the body in a line. I've got 10% of my body weight here. You would be shocked at how badly way over 90% of the population can't even do one good rep of that, let alone working sets. So these are trap muscles. They go down just above the lower back. Modern life like this, not opening up. Now they're not contracting, they're not getting strong. They're usually skipped in exercise. So another cheat code right above that lower back. 2 sets, 10 to 12 pullovers. 2 sets, 10 to 12. Trap 3 raises. But now you also got this modern shoulders pulled forward, and lifetime of push-ups, I didn't feel too good stretching back. So this would include ATG style push-ups, ATG style dumbbell pressing. That means I'm going from a stretch. Over time, this feels incredible for the posture. Start with the soup can if you need to. Put in that investment. Feels incredible. Your posture will feel amazing after the workout. And then lock that in another pretty weak one. Not as weak as the trap 3 raise, but pretty bad. So not from here, right there. Now I've got to use the muscles deep between my shoulder blades. My elbow is straight, controlling all the way down. So I try to get in, dig deep between those shoulder blades so that when life pulls us this way, I want to be strong between those shoulder blades as more protection up above. Almost done. Last one. Yes, for good measure, I also want to directly strengthen those lower back muscles, those spinal erectors, just as if someone would pump up the bicep. I want to strengthen those muscles. But I'm only listing this 13th because this is like a finishing touch. My current favorite is single leg with a band, because notice I don't have to have as much weight, but I can really challenge myself almost maximally in this position. Now, if we compare to that stretch strength deadlift, stretch strength deadlifts, was there tension here? Not really yet. More. So the most tension's here. But then on this one, was there tension in that bottom position? No, not here. Now as we go up, especially with the band up, there's more tension here. So it's insanely gentle for how much strength you can build. And then it gives us this really well-rounded approach. And now one of the exercises is single leg, one is double leg, nice balance. That is my conclusion. My thought on when I go exercise, I'm not just trying to burn calories or get stronger or improve performance. I'm trying to balance my body through the exercises themselves so I don't have to do anything else. So maybe it seemed like a daunting title, 13 exercises, but that was kind of the point. I'm trying to make an anti-video to the point of view. I just did this one thing and my back doesn't hurt. That's fantastic for you. But the average body is wrecked. The average stats are awful. I don't want to have anything to do with that. I want to be a completely different specimen. And this is your manual. Thanks for watching.